we ache to debate them, but they won't debate us, and they won't come on our shows, and they won't have us on their shows. I have offered tens of thousands of dollars to any left-wing columnist on the New York Times to debate me anywhere they want. They could choose the moderator, they could choose the audience, and serious money.
Joining us now is Dennis Prager, the man you just saw in that video. And Dennis, I guess you could call TYT acetaminophen because we don't want you to ache. We want to make sure we give you an opportunity to feel good by debating someone on the left.
Funny, because I was thinking, if only you were a New York Times columnist, how much money you'd be making now.
Well, I'm a little more honest than a New York Times columnist, so this will be a great conversation. Thank you for doing it. So I wanted to.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So I wanted to just kind of start off with, I guess, disagreeing with the notion that the left is afraid to have these kinds of discussions or debates. In fact, you had tweeted that video that we started this conversation with, and there were a lot of responses from prominent individuals on the left. I want to give you a few examples, starting with Vaush, who's a big Twitch streamer. He's got a big YouTube channel as well. He says, "You couldn't be more wrong. I love spirited debate in the free marketplace of ideas." He even provided his email and would love to have that conversation with you. My good friend Ben Burgis also responded. He's a great guy. He says, "Hi Dennis, I'd be delighted to chat with you either on my show, or you could host it through PragerU, or I'm sure Modern Day Debate or some other neutral platform would be happy to host it." And on multiple occasions, I noticed that Sam Seder would also love to debate you. So he responded in that tweet as well, saying available, and adding, Tim Pool knows what lengths he would go to not even be on the same stage as me, right, Tim? So there's some drama with Tim Pool, but just wanted to let you know, you don't have to ache anymore. There are lots of people on the left who want to debate you.
Oh, I have no doubt that there are a lot of people on the left. The issue that I raised was people at the New York Times and people like you, for example. You pleasantly surprised me by doing this, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So, are you really on the left if you don't work for the New York Times?
I mean, that was the whole thing. Like the idea that the New York Times is this bastion of leftist thought in 2022 is a joke at best. Like, who did he want to debate?
Yeah.
You don't bring me Thomas Friedman right now.
Yeah, that's right.
And how do we?
Right. I want the real left.
If you don't bring me a non-Girdadas right now, what are we really talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe like Jamel Bowie, like that's about the closest I can think of. Like there's Lisbeth Brunig used to write for the New York Times for a minute, but like she hasn't for a little while. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is not like, I mean, not even in terms of your sort of basic social democratic stuff. I don't know. I mean, I don't know a lot of people who perceived the New York Times as being in love with like the Bernie campaign when that was happening, for example. I mean, obviously in the past, that was definitely a very left-wing outlet when it was publishing all of Comrade Judith Miller's articles about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq in 2002 and 2003. But yeah, that's a sort of strange dodge, right? Because he was clearly making a contrast about the left and the right. I
think he also was speaking to the idea of a quote unquote serious person. Right? Like, I don't want to talk to a Twitch streamer. Like he was very quiet when she was like, there's this guy Vaush. He was just, and that quietness was like, that would have been my way of being like, fuck that guy. If you would have brought them, sat there, I wouldn't even have made a sound. I would have sat there and just looked at you like, man. Yeah. So I think what he meant was like, I need to talk to someone serious that my audience is going to take as a serious person, because we also live in this technocratic world of PhDs and degrees and a New York Times columnist.
I got one of those.
Yeah, there you go.
But you know, he doesn't. I guess he doesn't see Jacobin in the same light. Or maybe you should have started your tweet with, "I am a columnist in Jacobin magazine."
Hi, Dennis. I have a PhD in it.
I am Dr. Ben Burgis, and I'm a columnist in like all of the things you've done. I've written 2 books.
Just done like a CV at the beginning of the tweet.
I don't want to hold water for the neoliberals who are at the New York Times, but I also think that like a lot of this is just weirdly logistical because like a big part of the reason that the people that want to debate him are YouTubers and streamers and stuff like that is because that's like what y'all do, right? I don't think everyone at the New York Times is like I don't know if Jamel Bouie's like a big debater. Like I don't think anyone is scared to debate. Dennis Prager. I don't think that's their thing, and they don't give a shit.
He doesn't want to debate a debater. He wants to debate a columnist who doesn't debate.
Has no interest and never has like never been in like a public debate.
Yeah, well, it's also weird because it's like the same reasoning. I mean, he's repeatedly said, whatever. I understand my relationship with Dennis only goes the one way. He provides me with content, but I don't do anything with him. But like the Sam Seder thing. I mean, that's been repeatedly brought to his attention. Somebody called into his radio show to mention that, and he's sort of said, "Well, Sam with his 1 million YouTube subscriptions doesn't count. That's too small time for me." But like by parity of reasoning, shouldn't PragerU be too small time for anybody who writes for the New York Times? I mean, how does there's a weird shell game going on here. I will also say with regard to the Sam part that what he's referring to, because this all happened, the original thing was on Tim Pool's show, and Sam says Tim Pool knows the links he will go to avoid being on the same stage with me.
Oh, gotcha.
I do know the story that he's talking about there because I was involved in that, and anybody who wants to come to Los Angeles on October 23rd, Terragram Ballroom, I will be happy to share this story with me with you. But in any case, and you can also see Ana, Ryan, Jason, Varn, who'll be at the post game. Matt Leck, David Griscom, and Jason, Deep State Cuba.
Coob's gonna be there.
Yeah, who will be like 3 weeks out from getting married, but he'll still
that's marriage hangover.
He'll still be doing his duty as a podcaster.
People on the show get married. I didn't know that. Once you get into politics, it just
it was arranged.
Yeah, it was a she's a podcaster. It was all
it was all don't worry about it. You're in line. You're number 47. Don't worry.
Like someone from like Red Scare or something like that.
No, you're aiming too high.
No, just Red Scare, please. No,
you're no.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just obviously silly, like out of the category of leftists who like doing debates. 100% of them would be happy to
well, there's the one person that I know that actually has debated people in the past. I can't remember him debating quote unquote right wingers as much, but Chris Hedges used to debate Christopher Hitchens.
I remember that, yeah.
Moons ago, right? And Hedges was a Timesman before the Times actually booted him when he voiced his anti-war stance at a college graduation ceremony.
That's weird.
Oh, I think it was like 2000.
The left-wing New York Times, yeah.
Yeah, the left-wing New York Times told him,
Amazing.
He came, here is all your shit. Just go on ahead. Don't even bother to say bye to anybody. We have it right here for you at the front. And he's a well-known, he has had a television show. So if you need that sort of that following, you need the educational backup. He's Harvard Divinity. What else do you need? He teaches at a prison. Can it be any more bleeding heart than that? For Dennis Prager. So I don't know what leftist he wants. I really think he wants to have just some sort of weird conversation with the Thomas Friedman type.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he basically, after I think in the specific case of Ana, he ended up sort of having to, because there were too many people that like he'd made this big blustery statement, and there were too many people who were like, yeah, let's do it. And I think it was,
I'm pleasantly surprised someone agreed to this.
yeah, there are 100 people who agreed to this. And, and that is like, and then I think in Ada's case, it was particularly ridiculous that for him to pretend that, you know, that she was beneath his notice because, you know, so, you know, he had replied, you know, we talked about this in a previous episode, you know, he had replied to, you know, controversy about some of the, you know, crime coverage on TYT by saying, ooh, maybe she agrees with me about some of this stuff, and inviting her to do something in PragerU. And she's like, no, I don't actually agree with you about any of this. But if you want to do a debate, I'll do that. Mm-hmm. And then him having already extended the initial offer, it was, you know, it was just too much. And so he kind of got backed into it.
And you just got to trick him into thinking you agree with him about something. Get the invite, then you're in.
Yeah. All right. I'll yeah. We'll brainstorm in the post game, and we'll come up with the issue that, you know.
You have to like show a clip of you on Fox. Weren't you on Fox once, Ben?
I've never been on Fox.
MSNBC. You were on one of those news shows, weren't you?
No. I've never. I mean, you know, I was on the Joe Rogan Experience. I don't know if
there you go. Show the screenshot of you and Rogan, and then he'll be like, okay, this is one of my people. Burgess, we can talk.
Do one of those like really badly edited, like we pick individual words to make it sound like you're saying something Prager would agree with on Rogan's show.
Or we need like a 5 to 10 minute segment on like the British colonial empire and like why it wasn't so bad. Just like a complete, but it's like an unlisted link that we just send.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that. That's what you need to do, and then bam, you're there.
Yeah. There we go. You have been watching free public content from Give Them an Argument. To access every single episode of the show, the main show on Monday nights, all of the streams, all of the debate breakdowns, all of the patron-exclusive post games on Monday nights, all of the patron-exclusive bonus episodes every week, and much, much more, go to patreon.com/Ben Burgis. I cannot resist ending this with, don't be foolish.